Yummy, yummy, yummy in my tummy, tummy, tummy.
In today's video, we'll be making what's about to become your new favorite snack, cheesy kale chips. Kids love these and they love to make them, so give them something to do in the kitchen. Make kale chips. Did you know that one serving of kale has more calcium than 6 ounces of milk and more fiber than 3 slices of whole wheat bread? Did you know that? Go kale! What you'll need to make these chips is a blender or a food processor, and you can use either a dehydrator or the oven, even an air fryer. The only drawback to making these cheesy kale chips is that it takes time. It's a bit of a process. So you have to first soak cashews overnight, and the dehydrating part takes about 8 hours. So plan ahead. And prep the kale and mix the spices the day before, so when it's time to put it all together, it's really quick and easy, as you'll see. And trust me, it's worth the wait. These are so delicious, crispy, light, and delicious. So the first thing is to soak 1 cup of raw cashews. That's what we have here. They've been soaked overnight. Just put them in a jar, fill it with water, cover them, leave them on the counter overnight. In the morning, drain them, and then put them in the fridge until you're going to use them. So which type of kale to use? The kale that works best is curly kale. It holds the coating better than dinosaur kale, which has a smoother surface. So use a whole bunch, an entire bunch of kale, rinse it, dry it, cut the thick stems out, and toss the stems into your compost. Compost! Or chop them up, add them to your stir fry, soup, salad, whatever you're making, but they're not going into this recipe, okay? Here's the kale that I cut yesterday. So the pieces are about this large. Not that big. Okay. Now for the cheesy stuff. We make that first. Here's my cashews. Woo! We're gonna blend these first. You just want to get them to where they're like chopped. Okay. Some people say soak them only an hour or soak them 4 or 5 hours. They get much smoother if you soak them overnight, and it actually helps make the nutrients more bioavailable. Okay. Now we add 2 tablespoons of chopped onion. I actually had shallot, so I used shallot. We'll see what happens. And you can use a half of a bell pepper if you like. And I like bell pepper, so not going to add that to mine. But I am adding half of a seeded jalapeno. Give it that bite, right? So with the peppers, you can take them or leave them. Doesn't matter. And 1 clove of garlic. Okay? We're dumping all that in. Boom. And the juice of half a lemon. And now we will blend. This is one of those recipes that you can really play with. You can add or take away different flavors and it'll be fine. So once you do the basic one, you know what, I want to experiment with this or that, do it. Okay? So we blended. We're going to add some water. This is 6 tablespoons of water. You want to start here. You might add some later. Start with this. 6 tablespoons. And the last thing we add is the powdered spices. So I pre-mix mine. And this is 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, a half teaspoon of paprika, a half teaspoon of turmeric, and a 1/4 teaspoon of dried mustard, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. All of the ingredients and everything is in the description under the video. All right, so I'm just gonna dump this in here. and we're gonna blend until it's smooth. All right. Smells cheesy. Okay, it's the perfect consistency now. It's like hummus. That's the right consistency for this. So you don't want it too thick. Add some water if it got too thick when you were blending. Cheesy. All right. So now we're gonna dump this into the kale. Not so appealing yet. Okay, now we've got the cheesy mix in the kale, and now it's the fun part. With very clean hands, get in there, scrunch. Ugh, I don't like this part. I don't like this part. Kids like it though. This is the fun part for kids. The kid in me does not like this though. It's gross. It smells really good though. Giving the kale a massage to get it relaxed before it goes into the warm environment to become chips. Before it undergoes its transformation, it needs to be relaxed. That's all I'm doing. That's right. Ooh, it's nice and coated. This is gonna be so good. I can smell the garlic. Okay, now we're gonna set up the dehydrator and get these puppies drying. Woo-hoo! 8 hours away from cheesy kale chips. Now it's time to place the coated kale onto the dehydrator trays, trying to avoid overlapping them so that they can dry faster and don't stick together. Okay. Oh, look at these. These are gonna be so good. Now, if you're using an oven, you can bake these on a wire cooling rack at 350 for about 25 minutes or so. Start checking them at 20 minutes because you don't want them to get, burnt. You just want them to be completely dry. They'll be crispy. So you'll start checking them at 20 minutes and pull them out when they're dry and crispy. You can use the air fryer too, and that's tricky. Just turn it low, I want to say 320, and check them frequently because they will cook faster in the air fryer. Oops. No overlapping. The other thing is these don't last long. So I suggest you double the recipe and go ahead and make a double batch. Everybody's going to eat them and love them, so they go really fast. If you only make one batch like this, it looks like a lot. It's not. Once they're cooked, and they're so easy to eat. You'll binge them. And if you want to skip this whole process of making cheesy kale chips, you can just do the super easy version of kale chips. So you get the kale because it's a superfood, right? You just prep the kale the same as you would for this, and coat it with olive oil. I like to mix olive oil and sesame oil. And then just put whatever you want on it. You can sprinkle some nutritional yeast on it, or just salt, salt and pepper, whatever you like. It's so easy. And you can bake them in the oven. So you can keep, this recipe could be, it's not going to be cheesy, but it can be kale chips that are super easy to make. But sometimes you don't have the time or the inclination to do all this. So that's the easy version, easy and quick version. Just as healthy. Okay? Here's our amazingly nutritious, light and crispy, cheesy kale chips. So yummy. This is less than half of what I made. Okay, just to show you. And they are so worth the wait. They are light and crispy, and they melt in your mouth. And now that I have snacks, I gotta go. The plant food, grow peace.
Oh, get your vitamins, antioxidants every day.